Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to another filming stories. Probably the last one for actually no, that's not true. I actually have one more that I'll be posting after this, a few days later. But yeah. So we're here to talk about one more short that I decided to work on. And my God, just the ego. I just feel the ego. I'm gonna try my best to not let that dictate this video. But yeah. So this was IO, and it's kind of a weird. It's kind of weird how it all came about. To be completely frank, I was actually in the middle of a job interview of sorts. I was just kind of sitting around and basically waiting for training to start, and we were like, me and a couple of other candidates were just sitting around for hours, literally hours in one room. And my friend Orion, who is part of this film, he was the other guy doing all the dancing and stuff like that. He like texted me one day and he was like, "Hey, he was kind of curious about acting, and he found out somehow that I used to do projects, and he was kind of curious to do something." And it was funny because I was originally going to stop, after I forgot what the last thing I put out was, the conformity law. I was actually going to stop after that, but him saying that kind of, I guess, incentivized and validated in wanting to do something else. So I literally just sat in that office and just wrote something out, and it became very obsessive very quickly, just because it just became interesting. The whole idea of dancing in front of camera. I was always kind of intrigued by doing such a thing. I was originally, I think, at one point going to do that with Waves, but Waves went in the way it did. But I was always curious about representing certain things through dance, because dance can be very illustrative, and it can also just be, frankly, just a lot of fun to do. I just want to make sure my battery's not dying, because I'm pretty low on my battery. But yeah, it was originally meant to be a little more serious. I mean, that there's still some seriousness within it. It's kind of like an odd mixture, because obviously I think you can derive some sort of humor. Oddly enough, I actually did rewatch part of it, mainly the dancing, because I was just wanting to see, just for fun, just for giggles, just to see that, because in just the in just the execution of itself, just making it, it was fun. It was fun to be silly, just to be outdoors and just dancing very randomly and stuff like that. And just to also be very upfront, to out myself, just to recognize the influence, if you may or may not have picked up on it. I was inspired by the dance from Kinds of Kindness, the Emma Stone one, specifically the one at the very end. I mean, I think that's the only one, right, that she does in the movie. The one where she's like dancing by the car and she's like, kind of doing such and such. I took some inspiration by choice of that framing, of also kind of having like a maybe dead, maybe sleeping body in the background. But in this, I wanted to utilize that in a way that kind of represented like personas or specific moods, and there was at least kind of in the organic way of how it kind of materialized. Like, it became so like he was one of them, my friend Orion, he was like kind of wearing lighter clothes and I was wearing darker clothing. And like the hard, meaning behind that is kind of ambiguous, even by how we went about it. like I said, they kind of boils down to personality traits, kind of moods in and of itself, darkness versus light, if you want to look at it that way. Um, or at least by maybe even by identity, by the choice of identity, um, by ultimately, the fact of, after that dance is done, there's like that whole thing about the beanie and the dark clothing kind of maybe in some ways winning out. Um, but the whole title IO, it derives from the meaning, input, output, so in that I kind of wanted to represent that sort of aura by showcasing the four different worlds, even if it's kind of subtle. The first of which you see is obviously that of the, the forest, or at least the trail that I took a video of. And then there was the two distinct type of quote unquote worlds, which was the dance number with me and Orion. And then there's the fourth world, which is the world that's a lot more trying to be kind of, intense, but, kind of somber. And the setting, in that trail area is a little more dimmer and darker. And eventually we arrive back to that world at the beginning. And the whole point of that is to illustrate how distant, in some ways, we also are from the real world itself, and the kind of blockage, like there's a line at some point where I say something along the lines of how we get in the way of things, and ultimately, it's that fourth world that we all choose to seek, and that fourth world, as I referred to, is the real world itself. We have what we have on the inside, we have what we are on the outside, and those in and of itself can still be boundaries or walls from what is the real world itself. So kind of pointing back to that input output type of idea, but it was very just sporadic, just by how it all came together. It wasn't, like a hard, like, this is what I want to do sort of thing. Like, it just kind of became its own thing. At some point at the very early stages, it was literally like a few days. When I first started thinking about it, I was like, maybe we can do this in the fog, because we have I'm near a beach, and there usually gets really, really foggy towards nighttime. So I was like, maybe we can try that. But then I was thinking about just the certain things around that, and it just didn't feel right. And eventually it just came to what we had. And it got really obsessive, because I got stuck on that same tune, that same song. Even watching it again right now, I could feel that part of myself that was getting locked in that same obsessive mindset again, with the same song being in loop over and over and over again, which is ironic given the song's name being timeless. So, but yeah, it was a very odd process, but I thought it just, by results, I like how distinct and also just kind of manic the manic it is. Like, I kind of like that, and obviously to you, if you feel very differently, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, obviously. I welcome criticism. I don't ever want to be against it. So yeah, we're still good on time. I just want to make sure my battery's not going to die, but yeah, it was a very, it was a very interesting process, and I was very happy to have someone like Orion on board. He was really cool to work with, and he's actually pursuing acting in college, so hopefully, best of luck to him. Hopefully things work out for him. And like I said, it's not a no. It's a no for now, but in the future, who knows? Maybe stuff might happen or may not happen. But for now, I am going to take a break because I need to. So, but that is kind of the experience with IO. And yeah, it's just something that kind of came and went, but by what it is, it was just like it's it's unique, you know. I can't. In some ways, I also feel like now being further detached. You know, it's just like looking at it, especially now. It's just like, huh. You know, I could see where people may have hesitations, but or may be rooting against it. You know, um, so but you guys let me know. You guys, let me know your thoughts if you choose to. If not, it's fine. If you don't choose to see it, also totally fine too. I'm not pushing anybody to do anything. Just if you have your thoughts, I welcome it, and I wouldn't mind hearing it at all. So, but that's the experience of IO. I just want to thank Orion also for partaking in this. It was very again kind of out there, but he was all game for it, and he kind of took the leap with me, and we had fun doing it, which was one of the most important parts. So, but that's gonna be it, guys, for the summoning stories, and probably we'll have one more in the future. We'll see, probably in a few days down the line. But until then, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.